Guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, we are working on Mo. Mo is the 1955 Pro Street Bel Air, and if she's up in the air, she's up in the air because we are putting new tires on her. And this suspension it's fucked. So I'll show you what I think the problem is. If you saw the last video, we took it for a ride, and as soon as you give it gas, it's all over the place. So besides this not being centered, I got these blocks in here that raise it, but they're just all sorts of wonky and they're not centered or anything. So this side I started loosening up. I am going to take the block out of there. But more importantly, while I have this set up, I believe I'm going to be able to get the tire off of here. It's going to be really, really close, but that's going to save me a whole lot of time and make this whole suspension a lot easier if these big meaty 18 inchers aren't in the way. So I'm going to go grab a wrench, or I should say the impact, and let's take this tire off and see if we can actually get it out of here.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks.
Ooh, ow, ow, heavy, heavy. Ow, it's on my foot. Yes! All right, I'm a little confused. So you would think that with the weight off of the driver's side tire, that the passenger side tire would fall. And it's actually stuck back in there deeper than it ever was. So let me go underneath, loosen some shit, and see what I can figure out. I don't get it. I mean, the rim and tire weigh 50 pounds. It should be dropping. I don't know. I am not going to lie. That was a learning experience getting these bad boys off. Things are monstrous. So I did have to air down the one tire a little bit, but the 10 lug thug is free. So I guess I'll get these rims all painted, get new tires put on them, and then I'll start working on centering this suspension, because that's going to suck. And the only way I could do it is with the tires on the car. So let's see where we end up. We're back, and it is not the next day. It is about the next month. So it's spring here on the Jersey Shore. I've been doing a lot of shit around the house. Not that you can see any of that, but back onto the car. So I don't remember where we left off, but my suspicions have been confirmed. If you can see under here, I know it's very hard, but there is absolutely no retention pin. So pretty much this axle can just move forward and back. So I'm going to jump aboard the struggle bus. We're going to get this leaf spring off of here. And I don't know if you can see, there was a retention pin at one point, but it is definitely not there anymore. Same on this side. This side you might be able to see a little better. There ain't nothing. So when you're throwing 500 pounds of torque at something, yeah, it's going to move. Basically, the only thing that was holding it in place was these little C-clamps and hopes and prayers. So let's get this off. All right, interesting find. So you can clearly see where the retaining pin was here on the underside. What kind of baffles me is that when I turn it over, nothing. So I guess whoever did this, they just got rid of the retaining pin and welded it shut. But I'm going to re-drill that, hit it with a grade 8 bolt from underneath, maybe throw a little tack there to keep it from going anywhere. As far as the torque goes in the front, this is the bolt that was holding in the leaf spring. Yeah, she's got a little bend to her. And I also noticed while I was underneath here, it appears, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see, but I have a little tiny crack right there. So I'm going to clean that up and get that welded. And in the meantime, I think I'm going to pull the other side, and hopefully my springs are arched the same. I'd like to line these up right next to each other. And if they're good, I'm not going to buy new springs. If they're bad, then I will. So yeah, I should probably do that first. You notice if I don't have enough problems, of course that bolt dead ends directly into my jack stand. So yeah, I got about a 1/4 inch to go.
Now I gotta jack the car up. Good times.
Well, we got the springs out, and this is kind of what I was expecting. Yeah, one is about inch higher than the other. So that would probably bother a lot of people, but not me. Also, this is kind of interesting. I thought this was coming out, but it's not. It was just the only bushing that they had when they built this that they jammed in there, and it was just about 3/4 of an inch too big. So makes placement really easy since the other bracket is so big. But yeah, the reason it doesn't bother me is the bottom line is I'm basically just throwing this together just so I can move it around and get it in the other garage. More than likely in the fall I'm going to send this thing out and get 4-linked. So this is all just temporary. So I'm going to keep on going. I think next up I'm going to drill through here and where that retention pin was, because these are obviously meant for the axle going underneath. So I'm going to drill and tap and throw a grade 8 nut in here, and it will fall down into the ladder bars because there is a gap for that. And then I'll have retention pins going up. So that's the game plan. Let's see if this works. What are these, like hardened steel or some shit? I've been through like 16 drill bits. Keep on going. Well, this has got to be some sort of a record. That is a lot of broken drill bits. And I'm still not through. I mean, I'm close to what size I got to be, but yeah, I'm not through. And I've decided I am not going to be able to tap this, so I'm just going to whack the bolt through and throw some tacks on it. But I got to keep drilling. I swear, I can't win. I burned out the drill. Figured I'd let it cool down and hope for the best. I took it all apart, even inside here, cleaned the brushes, all that crap. One of the brushes was off, and yeah, nothing. You can see I got power. So now I got this little crap drill. Yeah, I'm gonna revisit it. I think I'm gonna revisit this tomorrow. Next day here, and as you can see, I finally drilled through this leaf spring. And yeah, I'm gonna need a sponsorship from Harbor Freight, I think. But as you can see, I put a nut and bolt through here, and then I put some silver Loctite on it. Yeah, that's a weld, but it ain't going anywhere. So I think now I'm gonna go underneath the car. I'm gonna hit that one area I showed you guys where it was cracked, and then I'm gonna slap all this stuff back in. So I don't want to waste anyone's time with nuts and bolts. So just get this done. All right, under the car, we have the driver's side. Back in, it is just loose for right now. As you can see, we got the nut up there. That'll fall into place with the rear, which has got to go forward a 1/2 inch. And I just went through, and I welded this tab that was broken. Yep, it's not pretty, but when you're underneath of it, and you can't wear your helmet, and you got to blink, and you're upside down, you get what you get, and you have no regrets. But I did the inside. Actually, the inside looks pretty damn good for my welding purposes. So yeah, now we're ready for this side. I'm gonna need to get these tires mounted soon. Like, real soon. Eeny, meeny, miny. No. Let's put a straight one in. So I left these loose because I am gonna have to tilt the rear to get the tires on, but we're pretty much ready for the tires. And since I'm here, I think I'm gonna clean my rear, so if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna do that off camera. All right, we are back, and I don't remember where we left off, but I'm fairly confident that the tires are not on the car. And the reason that happened is just by pure dumb luck. I had a speed shop move into my town, and he was able to mount these for 30 bucks a piece. Mount, balance, good to go. So to show you where we're at, I didn't record putting the tires on, which kind of sucked. The whole suspension down here is loose, as you can see, and you might be able to see that my suspension is actually kind of cocked. So I have to tilt the whole rear forward. However, I can't do that because my drive shaft is more or less sitting on the cross member up there. So I'm gonna unbolt the drive shaft, and then I'm gonna get this all tightened up. Like you can see, You can see the angle, like I'm not supposed to put my finger in there. So I'm not going to completely tighten up this suspension. I'm going to snug it up, and then when it's on the ground, then I'll tighten it all up. So let me get this drive shaft off, tilt this rear, and get this snug. We're going to be driving soon. Fun fact, I have never pulled a drive shaft out of a car. I know I tell you guys all the time I'm not a car guy, but as soon as I did, she dropped in. And the rear dropped right on the bolts. So, yeah, we're in good shape now. Let's snug her up. Well, we have her all snugged up. The next thing I have to do before I drop this down is I got to go underneath and measure, because I have no idea if this rear is cocked at all. And I'm hoping to get lucky, but for the most part, I'm just going to go underneath, measure a few areas from the frame back to the axle, and hope they line up. If not, it's really not that tight. I can just knock it forward. I got about maybe a ½ inch worth of play front to back. But we're going to get this lined up. I got to go still connect the shocks. Got to do something with the emergency brake cables, but that's just all boring stuff. So next video, this thing is going to be on the ground. And of course the drive shaft, that had to be a pain in the ass because somehow it got locked up in the transmission and I could not slide it back. So had to get a ratchet strap, crank it from the rear, pull it into place. Of course the needle bearings fell out, so I had to pick all them up. Think I found them all. Might be missing one, but no big deal. So she's officially ready for a test trip. So I do have a few more parts that I can go get to throw on, and then this car will be a wrap. So I'm gonna run down my basement, grab 2 more things, and I'll be right back. All right, I would be absolutely lying if I said I haven't been waiting 4 or 5 months just to see that. Because if the hubcaps are on, the rear is done. So guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Unfortunately, I told my wife not to make any plans for me for today, and of course she did. So I gotta run, so I can't even take her for a test trip. So tune in next time. We're going to take her out, see how she does, come back. You know, I'll tighten up the suspension, do all that shit I got to do off camera. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment and subscribe and like and all that shit that the successful YouTubers tell you to do. And we'll catch you on the next one. Some animals are just not that bright.